Hi, beautiful. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. We're reading in the text, chapter 23, The War Against Yourself. We're in the introduction, and we'll start in paragraph 1. Do you not see the opposite of frailty and weakness is sinlessness? Innocence is strength, and nothing else is strong. The sinless cannot fear, for sin of any kind is weakness. The show of strength attack would use to cover frailty conceals it not, for how can the unreal be hidden? No one is strong who has an enemy. And no one can attack unless he thinks he has. Belief in enemies is therefore the belief in weakness, and what is weak is not the will of God. Being opposed to it, it is God's enemy, and God is feared as an opposing will. How strange indeed becomes this war against yourself. You will believe that everything you use for sin can hurt you and become your enemy, and you will fight against it and try to weaken it because of this, and you will think that you succeeded and attack again. It is as certain you will fear what you attack as it is sure that you will love what you perceive as sinless. He walks in peace who travels sinlessly along the way love shows him, for love walks with him there, protecting him from fear. And he will see only the sinless who cannot attack. Wow. Okay, let's talk about this. Wow. Okay. For love walks with him there, protecting him from fear. Love literally protects us from fear. What we love, we can't fear. And when we choose love, we're not afraid. And since fear is delusional, love brings us clarity and truth. I had an experience a few years ago where I was accused of something that I didn't do, and I was really upset, and I kept thinking about how do I protect myself and how do I make sure that this person's held accountable for what they're doing, because it's really just extortion and this is not okay. And I got an attorney. I started to get my attorney involved because I owned a business at that point. So I just had an attorney that did like regular routine business stuff for us. But I was like, look, we need to like go after this person because what they're doing is wrong. It's not ethical. And Spirit said to me so clearly, lay down your sword. And I was like, I don't want to lay down my sword. I need my sword. I need to protect myself. I'm the one being attacked. And Spirit showed me this interesting, because we're all taught in ways that make sense to us for whatever reason. But Spirit showed me how the strongest samurai in the room didn't need to pull out his sword because everyone knew who he was. I was like, okay. I'm trying to follow. What Spirit was showing me was that I was a really strong person, and this person who was trying to quote unquote attack me really had low self-esteem and felt quite weak and scared. And so they were attacking from a place of fear and smallness and feeling weak. And so I laid down my sword and I reached out to this person with love and compassion and had a conversation with them and asked what was really going on, got to the bottom of it. This person just felt incredibly unloved, and they felt like they'd been mistreated, not even by me. And they admitted that it wasn't you that did it, it was this other person, but I can't go after them, so I'm gonna go after you. That was their thought process. And I was like, okay, well, that's not ethical, but all right, clearly you're not in your right mind. I didn't say that, but I'm making these observations. But I extended love to this person. Instead of picking up my sword to fight back, I laid down my sword and said, hey, let's get to the bottom of this. What's really going on? We had a great conversation. This person reversed course on everything. The whole matter was resolved. The issue disappeared. And I realized that if I had pulled out my sword, I would have escalated it. And I would have felt justified, and they would have felt justified, and it would have gotten snowballed into a much bigger issue. Ended up being a complete non-issue. We do need to listen to the Spirit. Sometimes we are told to protect ourselves. Sometimes we are told to use firm words. There was another time where someone threatened that if I didn't do what they wanted, then they were going to make a false accusation. And I I prayed about it and I got guidance that you need to respond with this firm reply. It was polite and professional, but it was super firm. And the person immediately backed down. And I'm sharing both of those examples because I don't want anyone to think the answer is always this one thing. The Spirit will let you know. Holy Spirit will let you know. When you are still, be still and know. You will be guided, but you will be doing it from a place of strength. You won't be doing it from a place of fear. And you will be looking at the other person not with judgment, but with compassion, that they're lost, they're confused, they're struggling, they have an error in thinking, but you won't be questioning their worth as a soul, which is as great as yours, and yours is as great as theirs. Infinite, limitless. Even if we're trapped in these little ego constructs, even if we're trapped in the small self thinking that I am just this little human character and that's all I am, and I'm scared and I'm small and I'm weak, so I have to protect myself. That's delusion. That, my friend, is delusion. The opposite of frailty and weakness is sinlessness. Innocence is strength, and nothing else is strong. That's the exact opposite of what the thought system of the world would teach you. And yet, I encourage you to put it into application because you'll see that it's true. That love is the lightest yet strongest armor you could ever wear. And it makes you unassailable. And it, in my experience, makes something that feels to the ego that it's this huge, big deal, this horrible, impenetrable problem. Approaching it with love can make it dissolve instantly. Letting go of the need to be right. And of course, miracles, we're taught that you can be right or you can be happy, but not both. If I had stayed on my high horse and tried to punish this other person and teach them a lesson, I would have really just been punishing myself and escalating an already uncomfortable situation and dragging myself through the mud. I didn't need to do that. I chose compassion. I chose to listen. I chose to care about this person as a human being and to address their real concern, which was they were crying out for love. And of course, the miracle says everyone's only never doing one of two things, saying I love you or crying out for love. And what happened in that instance is this individual was crying out for love, and I told them I love you. Now, it wasn't exactly in those words, but that was the energetics behind it. And you, being a light in the dark and a beacon of hope, you are often going to be the one who shows up to say I love you to the people who are crying out for love. That doesn't mean you should let yourself be used or abused or a people pleaser or a doormat or codependent. It just means you're showing up in your strength because you are strong. And you're not trying to need or get or take anything from anyone because you know you're perfect, whole, and complete. So you have no need to take or to get. You're it. Anything you could ever desire, you're it. And everything that you may need will effortlessly flow to you. We are not beggars. We are heirs to the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven is within. You have access to the wisdom, the strength, the knowledge, anything you might need to fulfill your mission. You've got it. You've got access to it. I promise you. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I'll see you soon.